is an Arabic term meaning a society's custom. Badran Abu al-Ainin defined it as what become common among a group through their repeated sayings and action, influencing their reasoning and gaining acceptance. While the Quran and Sunnah are the primary sources of Islamic law, scholars recognize the need to address issues not explicitly mentioned in these texts. This has led to Earth being recognized as a secondary sources of Islamic law, reflecting the cultural and social practice of Muslim communities. In Islamic law, Earth serves various purposes. It helps interpret local custom and allow legal ruling ahkam to adapt to change in time, place, and circumstances. Balance emphasize its importance in addressing contemporary issues where traditionally texts may be insufficient. However, Earth must align with Sharia and cannot contradict Islamic principle. This requires careful evaluation to determine what qualifies as valid rule and how can be integrated into the broader legal system.
Urf or local custom plays an important role in Islamic law by bridging the gap between traditional Islamic teachings and also local practices. According to NVLD 2022, Urf is especially important in regions where local customs differ from the early Arab context of Islamic law. It ensures that Islamic law remains flexible, reflecting the realities of local communities while staying true to core Islamic ethical values. For example, Urf is significant in areas like marriage contracts and also inheritance laws. Lutfi et al. 2024 further highlights that Urf helps Islamic law to adapt to modern needs, particularly in family law, as it accommodates the diverse practices and needs of Muslim communities globally. This flexibility also extends to areas like contracts and business transactions, where local custom help shape legal practices in a way that aligns with both societal norms and also Islamic principles. However, there are still several areas that need more research. One major gap is the impact of the globalization on Urf. While the influence of global legal system and the migration of Muslim communities, Urf needs to adapt. There's a need for more research into how Urf evolves in the face of this global shift and also interacts with international law. Additionally, most research on Urf is theoretical, with limited focus on its practical application in Islamic courts or legal system. Case studies on how Urf works in practice, especially in family law, contracts and also commerce, will provide valuable insight. Lastly, the relationship between Urf and other Islamic legal methodologies like Qiyas analogy and also istihsan judicial preference also requires further exploration to better understand how they work together. In short, while Urf is an essential tool in Islamic law, there is still much to learn about how it interacts with modern legal system and how it's applied in practice. Further research is needed to address these gaps and ensure that Urf continues to serve its intended purpose without compromising Islamic laws.
The methodology for a research paper on Urf typically follows a structured approach that involves both theoretical exploration and practical analysis. This research paper uses qualitative analysis. The research paper adopts a qualitative approach focusing on textual analysis of primary sources like Quran, Sunnah, and classical fiqh texts. This analysis will help to identify instances where Urf is referenced and to explore how it influenced legal rulings. Data collection will be based on two main sources. First, primary sources including the Quran and Hadith will be analyzed. While the Quran does not directly address Urf, verses related to societal practice and custom will be reviewed to understand how Islamic law accommodates local norms. Second, secondary sources such as academic literature will provide further insight into the practical application of Urf. Reports and studies on how Urf interacts with other Islamic legal methods such as Qiyas and Ihtisan will also be considered to understand potential conflict and harmonization between custom and Islamic principle. Apple also uses an analytical framework. An analytical framework such as Sharia compliance in the context of Urf. This seeks to establish a method for evaluating whether certain custom or practice align with Islamic principle. This framework integrates Urf with the broader objective of Sharia, ensuring that local customs are not in conflict with Islamic law. In conclusion, this research paper combined with analytical framework and qualitative analysis of primary and secondary sources will offer a comprehensive examination of oath in Islamic law.
4.0 Finding. We have divided finding into two subtopics, which is 4.1 Roles of Oath and 4.2 Limitation in Islamic law. 4.1 Roles of Oath. Oath, as a recognized source of Islamic jurisprudence, play a critical role in shaping societal norms and guiding legal ruling in contexts where explicit direction from the Quran or Sunnah are not available. For instance, in the matter of nafaqah, which is maintenance, the oath determines the standard of food, clothing and lodging a husband must provide to his wife. Similarly, in custody arrangement following a divorce, oath play a vital role in shaping the father's visitation right. Ta'zir punishment, which are discretionary penalties for certain offences, also reflect the influence of oath. Finally, the right of neighbours are another area where oath provides practical guidance. While scholars often reference a prophetic tradition stating that neighbourly right extend to 40 houses, the actual scope of what constitutes a neighbour can vary significantly depending on the context. This example illustrates how oath operates as a dynamic and practical mechanism within Islamic law, bridging the gap between religious principle and societal norm. While oath provides flexibility and cultural sensitivity in the application of Islamic jurisprudence, its use is not without limitation. The first limitation is oath must be a common and recurrent phenomenon. For a practice to be considered oath, it must be widely accepted and recurrent within the society, aligned with the shared understanding and the norm of the people.
We have divided discussion into four, and I will explain the first two of them. The first discussion is implication of findings. The concept of oath in Islamic law highlights its crucial role in promoting flexibility and ensuring that legal decisions reflect the real-life experiences of Muslim communities. By incorporating widely accepted societal customs, Islamic jurisprudence can effectively address local issues. This adaptability enhances the relevance of Sharia in different contexts, preventing it from being viewed as overly strict or detached. Including oath helps preserve cultural unity by acknowledging it and upholding traditions that align with Islamic values. Oath serves as a link between cultural norms and Islamic legal principles, allowing local practices to harmonize with religious guidelines. This demonstrates the dynamic nature of Islamic law and its dedication to meeting the evolving needs of communities over time and in various regions. The second discussion is conflicts with Sharia. Despite its usefulness, there are instances where oath can clash with the fundamental principles of Sharia. For example, some customs may have elements that contradict Islamic ethics, such as practices rooted in inequality, injustice, or superstition. In such case, the custom cannot be accepted as legitimate, as it would undermine the core values of Islam. Scholars address these conflicts by closely examining whether the custom aligns with the objective of Islamic law, maqasid al-Sharia. If a practice violates this objective, it is deemed invalid. Resolving this tension often requires a nuanced understanding of both the custom and principles of Sharia. It is through this careful process that scholars ensure that oath complements rather than contradict Islamic law. Other than that, certain inherited customs that favor male heirs over female may clash with the Quranic injunction on equitable distribution.
Adaptability of Earth. Earth's strength lies in its ability to adapt to changing social norms and globalizations as societies evolve. New practice and custom emerge that may not have been addressed in Islam's foundation text. Earth provides a way to integrate these changes into Islamic law, ensuring its relevance and practicality. For instance, modern digital technology has introduced new ways of communications, business, and relationship. Scholars can evaluate this practice through the lens of Earth to determine their permissibility in Islam. Cultural diversity of Earth. Earth varies significantly across regions due to difference in cultural, history, and social norm in Muslim world. A custom accepted in one region may be unfamiliar or unacceptable in another. This diversity enriches Islamic traditions but also poses pose challenges for universal applications, scholars must ensure regional custom align with Sharia, balancing respect for local identities and maintaining a universal Islamic principle. For example, Urf in some communities might emphasize communal land ownership while others prioritize individual property right. Regional custom regarding trade, marriage, and also social obligation often reflect long-standing tradition integrated into Islamic law. North African communities may focus on tribal custom while Southeast Asian Muslims incorporate indigenous practice into their interpretation of Urf. This process allows Islamic law to respect cultural diversity while remaining consistent and coherent globally.
In conclusion, Islamic jurisprudence plays a vital role in addressing situations not explicitly covered in the Quran or Hadith. This is where ijtihad and urf come into play, allowing the flexibility in the application of Sharia as long as it doesn't permit what is fundamentally haram. Urf helps maintain social order by aligning legal rulings with societal norms, reinforcing the balance between cultural practices and Islamic principles. To ensure Urf remains a just and effective rule for legal interpretation, it is crucial to establish guidelines that integrate customs without compromising core religious values. This balance requires the involvement of both contemporary and historical Islamic scholars. Future research can explore areas such as the influence of the technology on Urf, recognizing its potential to reshape social and business interaction while also posing challenges to traditional customs.